Okay. So, I have been on YouTube a lot lately, and I have been looking at videos of people who have mental health issues, and it's been really, really helpful to me. So I wanted to make my own video, but I am not ready to show my face. So this video has a static image because I totally admire the people who can get out there and be more open, and I totally admire that, but I'm just not there yet. So this video does not, it's more like a podcast. So I have obsessive compulsive disorder, post-traumatic stress disorder, major depressive disorder, and a borderline personality disorder, which is one hell of a diagnosis. So I got it kind of gradually though, fortunately. So I wanted to talk about the first time I ever went to the mental hospital. I was 22 and I was working professionally, and my favorite person, if I sound really nervous, it's because I'm really nervous. My favorite person had basically abandoned me. She told me that I was too much work for her. Which, if you have borderline personality disorder, which I didn't know at the time that I had, then that is pretty much the most devastating thing anyone could ever tell you. So I decided I would never see her again, and not that I didn't want to ever see her again, but I figured she would never talk to me again. So I freaked out, and self-injury had been a problem up until then because I didn't want to exhaust people, so I figured out that by self-injuring I didn't need help from anybody else. I could just solve my problems all by myself. So instead of reaching out to other people, I would just self-injure, and I felt all better after that. So, but this time my favorite person had left me, and so I didn't know what to do, so I was self-injuring like crazy. And so I went to the primary care doctor because that was all I had at the time, because I had no diagnoses at the time. I just had a primary care doctor giving me antidepressants. So she freaked out a little bit. And she sent me to the mental hospital. And I was there until the 11th day. So I was there, 10, 11 days? I left on the 11th day. And so I was at the doctor, and the lady said, please go to this address. So I got in my car, and I'm driving along, and I'm terrified because I have no idea what's going to happen, but I didn't even know about mental hospitals. I didn't know that it was a thing. And so I just figured out, they just told me I was going to get evaluated. So I was like, it's a little strange that I'm getting evaluated at 8:30 at night. I wonder why they're still open. So I drove to the outpatient section, and the outpatient section had nobody there because they were closed. So I went to the inpatient section because I was like, what on earth is happening? I was told to go to this address. And honestly, there were bars around the building, which one would have thought would have been the first tip-off, you're going to be locked into this place. I had no idea. So I go there, and I go inside, and I really thought that they would just laugh at me and send me away. They'd be like, what kind of idiot are you? You think you're depressed? You have no idea what depression looks like? Then just go home. But shockingly, they did not laugh at me and send me home. They admitted me. And so they took me upstairs, and I was like, okay, so I'll go get my stuff. It's in the car. And they're like, you can't leave. And I'm like, what do you mean I can't leave? I had no idea. And so I'm looking over at the people who are there, and they're like laughing and stuff. And I didn't realize that at the place, the culture of the place was to make fun of mental illness, so it wouldn't seem so bad. So they were like, this person's laughing because they put her on some kind of medicine and she's been laughing ever since. And I was like, oh my gosh, they're going to put me on crazy medicine and I'm going to start laughing. Things like that. So it took me a while to catch on that they were just kind of playing around. So that was that, and I was there for 10 days, and the people like checked in on me. The first night I thought that they came in with a flashlight, like really rarely, like every once in a blue moon they would come in with a flashlight. But it turns out that they were doing that every 15 minutes. Like, I just laid awake all night, and every 15 minutes seemed like immense amounts of time. Hold on. Sorry, my guinea pig was chewing at his cage and it was making a lot of noise. So anyway, the mental hospital was the first place where I had ever been, like, this is going to sound bad, but it was the first place I had ever been taken care of, really, because I was homeschooled in an abusive home, and so I had never had the experience of people, like, being concerned about whether or not I was okay. So I really, and I kind of liked it there, which is kind of not anybody else's experience, apparently, to actually enjoy the mental hospital, but I kind of liked the fact that there were people there who would listen to me and care about what I said, and I made really good friends there, because everybody else was in the same situation, and it was the first place I had ever been where I could be honest and show myself and tell people what I was going through, because everywhere else I had always had to hide and hide and hide. Like with church people, I would try to hide and hide and hide because they wanted me to be positive, so I would try to be positive. I would try to like hide everything that was going on, and I couldn't really do it, which is why they eventually wanted to leave me alone and just not talk to me anymore, because they couldn't handle that I was negative, because I was really depressed. And so in the mental hospital I could be negative and other people would listen to me, and it was wonderful. So I mean, it was a little boring and it was a little annoying that, like, when we went outside, we would go outside for smoke breaks. I didn't smoke, but everybody else there did, pretty much. And so we would go outside, and like these bars would have to move so we could cross the street, and we would still be within the bars the whole time. Kind of like prison, but I didn't care, because I mean, I was imprisoned in a place where the people cared about me. It was a whole lot safer and less scary than any place else. So that was that, and then I got sent home, and I didn't end up in the mental hospital again for another year and a half. So that was my first mental hospital story.